I bought a house near Porto for just 53k euros, without real estate agent, without speaking Portuguese, and with a mortgage that basically paid for itself with the plus. In this video, I will show you exactly how I did it, how I found the deal, got the mortgage, and rented it out, with the real tips you can actually use if you want to buy property in Portugal. I was looking for an investment property. My criteria were near a big city like Lisbon or Porto, with good potential to rent out, for up to 100k euros, that's what I could afford with a mortgage, the cheapest option possible, because I didn't want to be a slave to my job or the mortgage. The rent had to cover the mortgage with a little extra, because money has to make money, and no big renovations. I had renovations and I don't have luck with them. This was also important on a personal level. When I was a child, I didn't have my own room, so this was a dream of mine, to have my own corner, fully mine. And my ego wanted me to be a landlady. So I started looking on Idealista, the biggest website in Portugal for buying, renting and selling houses. I set my filters and created notifications for cheap houses that popped up in my email. But I also checked the website myself all the time, because sometimes the email came with a delay and you could miss good opportunities because of that. I wasn't using real estate agents and my Portuguese was very limited. Instead, I used Google Translate and prepared some speeches to talk with potential owners or agents showing properties I was interested in. The first house I saw was near Lisbon, in Amadora. It was a nice, fully renovated detached house with a small garden. Everything looked nice, but the area was terrible. It felt like a place where you want to quickly get on bus or a car and leave. I even met a couple on the street and asked their opinion about the area. They told me to run. There were lots of bugs and it wasn't safe at night. Next, I looked near Porto, in Valongo, a very nice place. From the window you could see a forest. I liked it a lot. It was the first time I checked with a mortgage broker if I could get mortgage to cover the price. Within 3 days, I got pre-approved from the bank, but the house was already sold. Interestingly, 2 months later, the same house appeared again on Idealista for 120k euros, and all change made was rugs. Another property was near Porto too, in Matosinhos, a very good popular area with an infrastructure needed. It was a flat, partially renovated, everything was great, but I was still living in Lisbon and needed time to come to see the apartment. One day before our meeting was arranged, the owner told me he already sold it. There was also a flat in Vila Nova de Gaia, near Porto. It was a very big flat with a big balcony, half covered and half open. It needed some renovation but was large for the price, a good opportunity. I made my first offer, but the offer before mine was already accepted. Now about real estate agents. I would say that mostly they are not as useful as they should be. I think they should solve your problems, whether the owner or buyer's side, depending on who is interested. What I don't like about real estate agents is that they usually slow. If a nice property appears on the market, you need to be quick, because the market is very competitive, especially for lower priced properties. Sometimes you send the agent a link and ask for a visit, and they take days to arrange it. Meanwhile, someone quicker can visit and make an offer first. This happened with the Vila Nova de Gaia flat, for example. The offer before mine was accepted because the agent from my side took too long to arrange a visit. That's why I mostly used my skills and checked properties myself. I'm super quick. I also created a big document with all the information I gathered through my house buying journey. If you want it, it's linked below. And then, one day, the house appeared on Idealista. It was in Armazinde, near Porto. 10 minutes by train from Porto, then a 10 minutes walk from the station to the house. The price was super attractive, 55k euros. I called immediately and arranged a visit. A few hours later, I saw the house. It's a very small house, not in great condition, but I saw the potential and felt it was the right house for me. I walked around the area. It's a small, typical Portuguese town with everything nearby. Most people there are Portuguese. I made an offer about an hour later with help from ChatGPT to create the email. The offer was 53k 2k euros off. About an hour later, the ad was removed from the Idealista and they accepted my offer. It was first step to becoming a landlady of my own house in Portugal. When I visited, I made a video and I realized something was off. On paper, the house was 46 square meters, but looking at the floor tiles, it felt more like 20 to 25 square meters. I asked the real estate agents and we measured it. It was really about 20 to 25 square meters. After buying the house, I talked to neighbors who said the house is about 100 years old. Now it's called on Ilha, an island, but it used to be one big house. Later, it was divided into smaller independent houses. They probably put the listed site to appear as a normal living area, but under 50 square meters, so you don't need an energy certificate, which is nice. Next, we signed a purchase agreement with the owners and I paid a deposit, 10% of the selling price. If I don't complete the deal, the deposit will stay with the owners. If they break off the deal, they must pay me twice that amount. I had 2 months to get a mortgage from the bank and close the deal by the end of the year. The bank did an evaluation based on documents showing 46 square meters and valued it at 57k euros, a bit higher than my purchase price. About the evaluation, it's an important point. The bank gives you a percentage based on the evaluation price, not the selling price. So in my case, if they evaluated it at 30,000, they would lend only 70% of that amount, and I'd have to find the remaining amount myself. Otherwise, I'd lose the deposit I paid. It's a common situation on the market and very important to be aware of. So they gave me a mortgage without any problem. I gave 20k euros down and the bank gave the remaining 33k euros. Here is a useful tip. Banks are businesses, so you can negotiate. Since I was buying near the end of the year, they probably had KPIs to meet. They offered to waive the evaluation and notary fees and give me better mortgage condition if I bought a smart TV for 1,600 from their shop. The TV has 65-inch screen. I joked that my house was smaller than this TV. But after calculating all the fees, the total cost was the same, except this way I'd also get a TV. I negotiated further and got a soundbar worth about 300 for free as part of the deal. So don't forget to negotiate, it can really pay off. After evaluation, we signed at the notary, I got the key. That's how I became a landlady. While this was still ongoing, I was laid off from my job. I got a package that was enough to make even better renovation than I planned, so I was happy. Renovation took longer than expected because, well, renovation always brings challenges, but in the end, we finished it exactly as I envisioned. We made the bed with the second floor to have some space under it, and I changed the kitchen completely. I also installed a new boiler. The bathroom was also redone, and I was happy with what I received. I really liked how it turned out. I found tenants quickly, a couple who lived there for over a year without any problems. Everyone was happy. Now reflecting on this process, the price was really cheap and many said these prices don't exist in Portugal anymore. The listing was only up on Idealista for about half a day. So if you are not watching closely, you miss chances. As you saw in the video, there wasn't a single option under 100k 2 years ago. Now things have changed because of the changes in the law, which I will talk about in a later video. But even then, people would believe that something real can be found at this price near big cities. Of course, it's a small house, but young people want to live alone and can usually afford only shared flats. In this situation, you can have your own house with your own kitchen and toilet for about the same money or a bit more. My audience is young people looking for something like this because I lived in something similar when I was young and was very happy to have my own corner. During this month of renting it out, I was happy to receive rent that covered the mortgage with a small surplus, exactly as I expected. Somehow I forgot to mention that the renovation costs me 6k euros and I rented it out for 500 euros plus bills. That means that the annual yield was around 10%.